next. But first, we're going to talk to Ron Johnson. It's been one of those mornings. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. First, I want to talk about what happened in Portland. We saw someone get killed overnight amid clashes there, and the president has been tweeting and retweeting before dawn this morning. He called for the mayor of Portland to resign and be arrested. He painted protesters as thugs and cities in chaos. You are the chairman, as I mentioned, of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. Are you comfortable with the president appearing to inflame tensions instead of what we normally see from presidents, which is trying to calm them down?
Well, good morning, Dan. Listen, I've been urging calm across the board, particularly in light of what happened here in Kenosha. But as I said in the opening statement when we had Acting Secretary Wolf before my committee, when you encourage disdain for the police, you encourage criminals. When you do little or nothing to stop rioting, you encourage anarchy. So when you're encouraging criminals and anarchy, people's lives are lost. You have more and more destruction, more and more violence. So what we need to do is we need to get control of the situation. And until we do, we're going to have more violence, and we're going to have, unfortunately, potentially more loss of life. So we need to get control of the situation. We need to encourage calm. And here's something else we need to do. We need to figure out what we do all agree on, and we share the same goal. We all want a safe, prosperous, and secure America in states and communities. Let's concentrate on those areas of agreements. That's how we achieve the unity everybody says they want.
So you're saying that everybody should be calm, which sounds logical, but look at what we are seeing this morning. Just one of the things that we're seeing on the president's Twitter feed this morning, he really appears to be agitating and actively encouraging his supporters to go into Portland, which is resulting in some of this violence. Is that what you want to be seeing from the president,
There are people agitating all over the place, and what we need to do is get control of the situation. Kenosha can be a model. What happened in Kenosha is Congressman Stile got into the city really quick, found out that law enforcement were looking for help. He called up the president. The president responded immediately and said, "What can I do to help?" And he offered to bring in some out-of-state National Guardsmen.
Given everything that you are saying,
unfortunately, our governor turned it down one night. 2 people died in the intervening time.
Given what you were saying, would you prefer that the president not tweet agitating comments and agitating ideas on his Twitter feed?
That's how you're typifying it. What we need to do is we need to encourage an end to the violence and the rioting. And the way you, Dan, let me finish. The way you stop the violence, the way you stop the rioting, is you surge manpower and resources, citizen soldiers, National Guard, and you overwhelm the numbers of rioters so that they can't riot, so that you can protect people's First Amendment constitutional right to peacefully protest, and they don't turn to riots. But I also have to point out, at some point in time, peaceful protests that don't even result in rioting at some point in time become a siege. I was in Kenosha yesterday. The downtown is boarded up. Those businesses are shuttered. They can't operate. Other citizens now can't earn a living because their businesses are shut down.
Part of the problem
so we also have to stop that siege on our cities.
Okay, that's fair.
Pardon?
That's fair. It's
very fair and needs to be said more often.
Let me ask you the question that I was going to ask you, sir. We saw 2 people killed by a Trump supporter in your home state of Wisconsin, in Kenosha last week. And these deaths do appear to be the result of clashes between the right and the left. So doesn't the president have a responsibility to call out violence regardless of who is committing it?
Yeah, and the governor has responsibility to accept the surge in manpower so that people, so that citizens don't believe they've got to protect their own property
about the president.
And take matters into their own hands. Because that's really what happened. No, what the president did was he offered to surge manpower resources so the violence could end. The governor did not accept that day. That night, tragically, 2 people lost their lives because citizens took matters in their own hand. I'm not for vigilantism. I'm not sure that's what was happening. People felt because the governor and local officials were looking for help. The governor did not accept the help, and so there was not the resolve to end the rioting. And so people took matters in their own hands, and that's what ended up happening. People die. You have to get control of the situation. And the way you do it is what happened in Milwaukee, in Kenosha, where local officials said, please, we want help. We want manpower. The president offered. The governor finally accepted it. And now at least the streets are not violent. We still have the protests. The businesses are still shuttered. Those individuals' constitutional rights are being violated because they can't operate their business and enjoy a living.
Senator, that
so again, you have to look at the entire situation.
The 17-year-old accused of committing those 2 murders was a Trump supporter.
It's a tragedy.
Do you condemn that?
It's a tragedy.
Do you condemn it?
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
It's a tragedy,
the entire situation is a tragedy. Listen, I don't want to see any loss of life. It's a tragedy, and the way you prevent these tragedies is you support law enforcement.
Tragedy could be a car
calm the situation. You allow for peaceful protest, but you don't allow peaceful. You don't allow peaceful protest to turn siege into siege. Listen, I don't want to see anybody lose their life. I don't want to see the violence continue. I don't want to see businesses burned down. I don't want to see economic destruction. I condemn it all.
Okay. Thank you. I want to move on to something that the president said when he was just a candidate back in 2016. He was speaking at the convention then, and he promised to end crime and violence in the United States if he became president. Take a listen.
Beginning on January 20th of 2017, safety will be restored. The most basic duty of government is to defend the lives of its own citizens. Any government that fails to do so is a government unworthy to lead.
So what we are talking about right now is happening under President Trump's watch, the violence in American cities, not to mention 180,000 dead from coronavirus. Is his government, in the president's own words, living up to his own promises? Is he worthy to lead?
Well, first of all, where the violence is occurring is primarily in big cities that have been governed by Democratic mayors and Democratic governors for decades.
Okay, I know that's the Republican
I think the way
talking
you
point, but he is the president.
Well, you know, President Trump has a tendency to overpromise. I generally try and underpromise and try and overdeliver. But
so did he overpromise?
That's a campaign pledge to basically support law enforcement and place safety and security as a priority. And that's what you need. If you want economic prosperity and opportunity, you need a safe and secure community and states and America. That's what I said. That's the goal we all share. Why don't we concentrate on the goal we all share and figure out how we can actually accomplish it? You know, Republicans in the Senate, we actually tried to address the problems with policing. And we did it using Tim Scott, who looked at the House bill and found the areas of agreement, put it on the floor of the Senate, and the Democrats said, no. It's either our way or the highway. We won't take just what we can all agree on. We need to have everything as well that we don't agree on. So, again, we're trying to do this. We're trying to provide the safety and security that America wants. So the president's trying to do that as well.
Well, it sounds like
riots
you are, but I'm not sure
those
tweets are achieving the goal that you're stating this morning. I want to turn to the question of Russia and more specifically election interference in the election we are currently in. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence informed congressional oversight committees that it will no longer be briefing in person on election security issues. Do you think that the DNI should continue, or his aides should continue to give those briefings?
Well, they will in a written form, and they're not doing it in person because of the leaks, apparently. Listen, Dan, I've been on top of Russian interference in elections well before 2016. As chairman of the European Subcommittee of Foreign Relations, we held 3 hearings on the way Russia tries to destabilize the election systems of countries around the world.
I know
and that is what they have done successfully because they were aided and abetted by people like Adam Schiff, Democrats, and the mainstream media.
Hold on
they can't really. They have a very difficult time influencing elections.
Let's focus on the issue at hand, which is the DNI briefing. You just said because of leaks. My question for you is, first of all, members of the committee, people who sit on the intelligence committees, dispute that they leak. But secondly, why logically would having an all-written briefing, why would having an all-written briefing do anything to stop leaks? Wouldn't it make it easier if you have something on a piece of paper?
First of all, Dan, Listen, I sit during, through secured briefings. This is being blown so way out of proportion. I can probably count on one or two fingers the things that are actually classified in those briefings. There's no surprise here. We know that foreign actors are trying to influence, trying to destabilize our political system. But again, we're doing Putin's work for him. What Adam Schiff did with this false narrative, what the news media did in terms of false Russian collusion with the Trump campaign narrative, a criminal investigation, a special counsel, that is what has destabilized our politics. It's how the media and how Democrats have taken that and basically done Vladimir Putin's work for them.
This is about the Constitution and the oversight responsibility that people like you in Congress have. Shouldn't you have the opportunity to question people who are working on securing the elections, which are happening now?
We do and we will. And we all know what Putin is doing. China wants Biden to be the next president. We understand that. But it's very difficult to change votes. It's very difficult to actually affect the poll numbers. What you can do is destabilize our politics. And that is exactly what Russia has succeeded in doing because of what Adam Schiff, Democrats, and the news media have done as a result.
Do you believe and do you agree with the notion that Russia, as we speak, is trying to destabilize this election?
Yeah, they always have, they always will. Yeah, yes. Again, I held hearings on this a couple years before the 2016. I'm not surprised at all by it. Yes, we have to take it very seriously, but we can't play into Putin's hands. We can't blow it out of proportion to destabilize our own political system, which is what's happened over the last 3 years. We've done it to ourselves.
Okay, I want to ask you about something that you're involved in right now, and that is you are investigating whether or not Ukraine was involved in 2016. I want to read to you something from the Senate Intelligence Committee's report suggesting that speculation about Ukraine interference is Russian misinformation. Here's what this says. The committee observed numerous Russian government actors from late 2016 until at least January 2020 consistently spreading overlapping false narratives which sought to discredit investigations into Russian interference. The committee identified no reliable evidence that the Ukrainian government interfered in the 2016 U.S. election. This is the Republican-led committee in the Senate saying this, and you're still investigating these claims. So my question is, why are you spending your time doing this when the theory that Ukraine was involved has been debunked?
First of all, that's your certification that's been debunked.
My
investigation is in the corruption of the Obama.
They worked for 2 years on this investigation, and these are your Senate Republican colleagues.
Are you going to let me answer?
Yes, I just want to say this is not my opinion. This is something that came out of the Senate.
So my investigation of the corruption of the Obama campaign or administration goes back to March of 2015. Our investigation is quite wide-ranging. Our investigation is primarily using U.S. government documents and sources from the State Department, Department of Justice, the National Archives, and a Democrat lobbying firm. The only Russian disinformation that I'm aware of that have been involved into our politics is, first of all, in the Steele dossier, and now Democrats inserting into our records based on a false narrative, a false intelligence product that they created and leaked to the media and didn't even tell Chuck Grassley and I about it. So it's the Democrats that are, again, they are being Putin's puppet, not me. Not Chuck Grassley.
Okay, we're actually going to have to leave it there. Thank you for your time this morning, Senate Homeland Security Chairman Ron Johnson.
Have a good morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you.